Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. This is Tara Sewell, internal wholesaler. Today is our FMI Agent March Madness giveaway. We will also hear from our guest speakers from Symetra. Your lines are muted for sound quality, but if you have questions, please reach out to your internal wholesaler after the call. We are honored to walk beside you as you enrich the families you serve, the communities you strengthen, and the futures you shape. Thank you for your business and thank you for your partnership. Congratulations to Jeff. He was our Christmas giveaway winner. And congratulations to our runners up. Thank you all for your business. Feeling lucky? Today we have 7,152 tickets in our hat, and the hat has been shuffling. One advisor on the call today will have their choice of a locking gun safe or a smart TV. 4 runners up will each receive an Amazon gift card. In order to win, you must have earned tickets, be pre-registered with your full name, and be present on this webinar for the duration. Your name can only be drawn once. Before we get to our drawing, I would like to introduce our guest speakers from Symetra. Many of you may recognize Brad Mills. He was our guest speaker in last year's March Madness, and he introduced us to Symetra's Swift platform. And as you will recall, Symetra offers instant issue for Swift Term and Swift Protector IUL. Today, he and Doug Bowden are here to discuss business owner strategies. Brad?
Well, thank you, Tara, and thanks to everyone out in WebEx land. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you folks again, and I'm super excited. March Madness is my favorite time of year, so we're gonna give you some business owner strategies that work, and maybe win a smart TV that you can watch another game on. So that'll help the cause if your brackets are busted, right? But anyway, in sake of time, I'm just gonna turn this over to Doug Bowden. He's our AVP of Advanced Markets, and he's going to go through some business owner strategies that work, and think maybe you'll take some nuggets back to your practice, and I think we can help you out. Us, along with the folks from Financial Markets, we have a great partnership with them, and we look forward to working with you on these cases. So thank you so much, and Doug, take it away.
All right, thank you, Brad, and thank you again, everybody, for taking the time to join us today. So as Brad said, we're going to jump right in. And we're going to talk about some the key employee edge, and we're going to talk about some retention strategies that work. And why we're talking about retention strategies that work is when you get into we'll call it the employee benefit, executive benefits, deferred compensation, marketplace, whatever terminology we want to use, plans can be fairly complex to simplistic. And I'm just going to kind of share some of the ones that I see that are out there and in here. And so, but before I really jump into it, it's really important to know that there are great opportunities in this executive benefit space. There certainly is high demand for executive benefits. I don't have statistics in here, but they're easy to find online for executive benefits here. And we know there's a need really to attract and retain top talent. I think I just saw this morning that the unemployment rate has now climbed to about 4.5%. So it seems to be on the upward trend. So this topic will become more and more valuable in your discussions to do that. When we talk about non-qualified plans, life insurance is certainly a component that always comes up and is a great vehicle for these types of plans, for the customization, the flexibility within these. And when you're working with business owners, we all know that the business owner has personal life insurance needs. And we know that succession planning more than likely needs to occur for business owners. So we have some buy-sell, we have some family equalization options going on in there. And we also have the ability to create plans that will help attract and retain their top talent. So having said that, some of the plans that I see are split dollar arrangements and bonus arrangements. And why am I focusing on these? It's because these are the types that I see most of the time when we're talking about executive benefit plans. When we get into that deferred compensation space, You can have complex designs with deferred compensation arrangements, such as deferral plans, true deferral plans, 401k matches, supplemental executive retirement plans, SERPs. We can have split SERPs. They can get complicated, and they're good plans. But right in the middle of the road are split dollar arrangements where we have extreme flexibility, where we can have a business own the policy in these designs. We can have an individual own the policy in this design, or we can even have a trust own the policy with these designs. So we have great flexibility in the type of split dollar arrangement that would fit the needs between the employer and the employee. And also executive bonus arrangements. We see executive bonus arrangements all the time. They're fairly simplistic to put into place. We've got great product for it, as we do with split dollar arrangements. And we also see a fair amount of restrictions that come up in discussions for bonus arrangements. So let me just dig in real quick here. When we're thinking about split dollar arrangements, we're really after the handcuff, or the golden handcuff, if you will, but we're not really concerned about immediate tax savings in this type of design. We're really looking for control. So we have cost recovery. The tax savings may come later on, or there may be smaller tax savings within the actual design to do it. So key control item is the cost recovery with control. And when we think of these arrangements, we can do an economic benefit if we're just looking for death benefit protection. And don't get too caught up in the weeds. We're here to help with this stuff to do this. So economic benefit, we migrate to a death benefit protection style sale. And if we want that death benefit protection with supplemental income, then we can migrate to an initial discussion on loan regime split dollar. So we can have that cash value build up in the policy and have it benefit the executive in there. And most of the designs that start with us tend to migrate towards the loan regime split dollar. So let me just kind of go through a loan regime split dollar real quick. And again, don't get caught up in the weeds. Let me just lay this out for you here. And there's no method to the madness of any particular design here. So we're going to assume that our business is a C corporation, privately held C corporation. So we're going to use a 21% tax bracket. And we're going to assume the executive, or I want you to think about a C corp business owner, could be in a 37% tax bracket in there. So we got 21%, 37%, and we simply have a 45-year-old, and in the perfect world, they're going to retire at age 65 in the 21st year to do this. So I'm just showing a 10 pay of $100,000 a year. Again, don't get caught up in the numbers. It's just so you can see it really easy. So we're going to fund, the employer is going to fund premiums of $100,000 a year for 10 years. So we have $1 million of total premiums. Each year, a premium is a loan. So you can see in the middle of the sheet that our first year premium creates a cumulative loan of $100,000 in the first year. And we are collateralizing the policy over to the business. So in this design, the policy, we're assuming is going to be individually owned, and the employer is funding the premiums in the form of a loan, and we're going to accumulate the loan each year while the split dollar arrangement's in place, and the individual executive and or business owner of the C Corp is going to recognize loan interest as income each year to do it. So again, those are just kind of the mechanics. What you're seeing here is our 10 pay. We're holding the loan for $1 million all the way out. And then in the 21st year, we're just going to assume, not day one, all has been great. And if it works out this way, the employer may forgive this loan arrangement. So we're going to forgive $1 million, which would then be considered a bonus / income to the individual. And then at that point in time, XYZ Corporation in our model would get a tax savings of $210,000, just like in a bonus arrangement. So they have control in the early years with the cost recovery and the collateral assignment. Then they have potentially a tax savings depending on how the split dollar arrangement terminates. They could do full cost recovery, or they could forgive the loan, or do partials of each, whatever they want to do that. So now let me just touch on the executive side. So I want you to see the tax leverage that's going to happen here in this model. So we're assuming that 37% tax bracket. So again, year one, this is kind of the the executive or the employee summary, if you will. So year one, loan of $100,000, and we're just going to assume hypothetically that the blended short-term AFR rate is 5%. It's lower today. It's about 4.5%, but I'm just grossing it up so it's a level amount, and you see it every year. So 5% is the loan interest in the first year, so the individual is going to recognize $5,000 of income. In the 37% tax bracket, the income tax due would be $1,850, right? Then they have the remaining net death benefit of the $1.5 million over on the far right side in that first year, and the business's cost for covering the difference. The gross, so we have a gross death benefit, and then we're netting over here. So all that net death benefit on the right side is our increasing death benefit. We're doing a minimum non-MEC face amount. We're just doing a B to A switch, keeping it simple in there. So what I want you to see is that each year the cumulative loan is going to grow. So we get to year 10, our loan has grown to $1 million, and at 5%, we have $50,000 of loan interest due, and we're recognizing that income. Therefore, in a 37% tax bracket, we got $18,500. Now, immediately you're going, Doug, why would anybody do that? Well, this is what's happening. I'm showing you the worst case scenario, meaning I'm showing you that the income tax due is being paid out of pocket. So if you look at the third to the last column, you see after-tax outlay. We're going to assume the individual is paying that out of pocket. So here comes the tax leverage. We're using corporate after-tax dollars at 21% in our hypothetical here. And we are taking those after-tax dollars, funding that life insurance premium, and then the individual, worst case scenario, would pay the loan interest, whatever it's going to be. It may be higher than 5, maybe lower than 5 over the 20-year period. But we're going to assume hypothetically that the out-of-pocket over 20 years is $286,000. What did we just do? We just took $286,000 out of the executive's pocket, and then when we bonus or forgive the loan of $1 million, we have a recognition of income of $370,000 in the 21st year. We're just simply taking a withdrawal out of the policy, so nothing out of pocket to pay the tax due. After that withdrawal comes out of $370,000, you can see we still have $2.2 million of cash surrender value. So ask yourself, what would the internal rate of return be on $286,000 over a 20-year period to net $2.2 million, potentially, hypothetically, at the end of the 21st year? That's a pretty good internal rate of return. That's the power of loan regime split dollar. Corporate after-tax dollars funded in, and then a internal rate of return with great cash surrender value, hopefully and hypothetically, at the end of the 21st year. And we still have a death benefit of $3.6 million going forward. That is an attractive, retainable benefit right there to do that. Now, that after-tax outlay can just be zeroed out because they can just bonus it every year, right, to do that. Or they could roll it out earlier, terminate it earlier, bonus it out earlier. Whatever they wanted to do, we had a 10-pay, so year 15, they could roll it out if they wanted to do that. So lots of flexibility in design. So a lot of time spent on loan regime split dollar with that flexibility of ownership, corporate after-tax dollars, the tax leverage, and individual ownership to do this. If we are concerned more about immediate tax savings each year and not as much control, then we tend to switch that conversation to bonus arrangements. And in bonus arrangements, we rarely see a single bonus because it's really not that effective. We generally see grossed up bonus designs or double bonus, if we want to call it that. So hypothetically here with our 45-year-old, we've got a annual premium of $20,000, and we are assuming a 32% tax bracket. Again, no method of the madness behind the tax bracket. It's just 32 versus 37 in here. And you can see that if we gross the bonus up to have 0 out of pocket, we would have a bonus of $29,412. Now it can be either way, right? We could have a budget of $20,000, and then we could net off the $20,000 for the actual life premium. So it could be more like a $13,000 premium instead of $20,000. either way, the flexibility is there. But see, we've got the 0 out of pocket, the green column in the middle, and based on our scenario here, which I think is just a 20 pay to endow type of scenario, it's not a maximum funded scenario, we have just over hypothetically 700,000 of cash value at the end of the 20th year. So you see, we're creating a benefit that is either good for the employer, control in the split dollar arrangement, or immediate tax savings, not as much control in the bonus arrangement, but still getting to the end point of what's going to work best between the executive and the individual in here. And you can see each year, based on this hypothetical here in Sarah's business, that they're getting a tax savings each year on the total bonus amount that's going in there. So this one happens to be $6,100 a year to do that. And if we wanted to add a little more control, now we talk about adding a restriction, right? So we can have a restrictive executive bonus arrangement where we can add a vesting schedule. If you leave early, you only get so much of the surrender value in the policy. And hypothetically here, we've added a 10-year, 10% vesting schedule in here. And you can do it any way you want, right? You could do 0% for the first 5 years and then jump up to 100% in the 6th year, or 20% over 5 years. Whatever you want to do is fine. Just make it attractive and achievable, right? You can't have something that's going to be, they got to stay for 20 years to even get close to 100%. That's just probably not going to be attractive. So some control, still get the tax savings in there. And we end up in the same place with a little over 700,000 of cash value based on the same design and hypothetical. And we have simple forms to help you do this, meaning if somebody wants to set up a restrictive bonus arrangement, we have a modification of ownership form that you just file with us at Symetra when a policy is placed, and it just tells us there's a restriction, and then basically, other than naming the beneficiary, the individual, or changing the index, the individual, cannot, surrender the policy, take distributions, etc., without permission from the employer while that vesting schedule is in place. We're not following the vesting schedule. We just know there's a vesting schedule, and then there's a separate agreement on the side between the employee and the employer that drives what that schedule is. So pretty simple to do in there. So those are the types of designs that we really see. And we can also not only do this on an individual basis, but we can do this with the same product, our accumulation IUL product, retail product, and we can do it with guaranteed issue with a minimum of 10 lives in here. Salary requirements are only 75,000 annually. We're looking for white collar management style positions. And this can be a great door opener for you. So keep that in mind, that we can do this on a guaranteed issue basis in there. A quick little story with guaranteed issue. If you think about regional medical groups trying to keep their physicians, doctors on staff, so they don't go over to the bigger, we'll call it the bigger national style hospitals that are out there. The solution in a case here that came up, which is a case that was in Brad's territory, he's very familiar with it. We ended up with an executive bonus arrangement where we're just doing 6% of salary. And there was some talk on a restriction, whether they did it or not. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but we educated them on it. And here's what a typical census would look like. Now, keep in mind, this is only 19 lives, good job titles, good salaries, and so forth in here. And dates of birth, average age 48, perfect. And nothing is made up in here. This is really the case. And what this means is that 6% of salary contribution from the employer to keep these key employees on staff. It's like you have 19 lives, and we have minimum non-MEC face amounts, and you can see the first year premium based on those 6% contributions is $322,000 with a target premium of $154,000. And again, it's guaranteed issue. 3 questions on the app. Once you have an offer letter from us, after we review the census and some data, then the business with a short app is just submitted, and you're ready to go to do that. So I'm going to pass the buck back over to Brad, and we'll go from there.
Thanks, Doug. Appreciate it. And that's really right where I wanted to lead into is underwriting on these cases. So as Doug mentioned, we have a multi-life platform where we really have a distinct advantage over a lot of the competitors because it is our street accumulation IUL product, just at guaranteed issue rates if you have 10 plus lives. So think of those, law firms, regional medical groups. We say white collar, but it doesn't have to be a white collar job. It could be a construction company with the 10 executives or the 10 estimators that go out and bid jobs that they want to recruit, reward, or retain. So I would think of those kind of buzzwords: recruit, reward, retain, when it goes to business owner strategies. And also, if you get into a case, like Doug said, don't get into the weeds. Contact your internal wholesaler at Financial Markets, and they can go through a ton of the information. They can get Doug or I on a WebEx or conference call with you guys as well. So really, when it comes to implementing the plan, they're your best resource, and they can tap us as well. But when it comes to underwriting these, if you don't have 10 plus lives, we could do accelerated underwriting with just a formal application. We could get a nice case. We can get up to $3 million death benefit up to age 50, just doing behind the scenes script check, MIB, MVR hits, and no full underwriting as long as it'll be standard or better. And up to $2 million death benefit, 51 to 60. So think of that kind of on the spectrum of underwriting. We have guaranteed issue with 10 plus lives, just a census data and a quick curve score check we'll get. So that's one spectrum of underwriting on these type of plans. Then we could do accelerated underwriting, still no paramed, blood, urine, or tele interview. Just a fully completed app up to these limits, 2 million or 3 million death benefit. Or if we kick to full underwriting, maybe you have a estate planning case or leverage gifting case or something with a business owner where it requires full underwriting. We can go all the way up to issue age 69 and use Good Life Rewards table crediting program, and maybe get them 2 or 3 extra tables for like our answer to table shave is called our Good Life Rewards table crediting. And that goes all the way up to our auto bind, a $55 million death benefit. So we can win a nice case and use a couple extra credits to give them a better offer in underwriting. So that's kind of the underwriting speak. This does come with our low charge structure IUL, like I mentioned, but I know we're probably getting just a little short on time. So with that said, I kind of wanted to leave it off here and turn it back over to the Financial Markets team and see if there's any questions, or also see if we can do the giveaway. I think there's a March Madness giveaway getting ready to happen.
Thank you, Brad, and thank you, Doug. We appreciate your insight, and this is such a great topic for our advisors as they're working with business owners. Folks, if you have a question about this, or you want to learn more about the table crediting or how to design this, please reach out to your internal wholesaler today, because we're looking forward to discussing your next case. Now, you should have received our FMI Pathfinder magazine. This was mailed to you in January, and we hope that you find this a very useful resource. You can also access a digital copy on our website, fmiAgent.com. Now let's move on to our drawing and draw our first 2 finalists. Pull up our hat here, and it has been shuffling. And we'll drop those tickets in our hat. And Neil Sperling is on the line with us. He's going to help me verify our finalists. And our first finalist, Eric Tangy, 242 tickets in the hat. Is Eric on the call?
Let's take a look, Tara. Good morning, everyone. And Eric is on the line.
Congratulations, Eric. You are our first finalist. Let's draw for our second. Art Diacono, 399 tickets. Is Art on the call?
Let's take a look here. Yes, he is.
Congratulations, Art. You are our second finalist. As I mentioned, there's many great resources available to you on our website. Did you know that you can look up current annuity rates on our website through Annuity Rate Watch? Let's take a look. Once you're on the website, you will hover over Advisor Tools, Quotes, then click on Annuity Rate Watch. Today, we will look for the current multi-year guarantee annuity product list. Once the products and rates generate, you can enter your state, the expected premium, your client's age, and you can select all guarantee periods, or you can select a specific guarantee period. We'll select a 5-year and search. The report will show us the top carriers and the current rates. It also shows us AM Best ratings, minimum premiums, free withdrawals, and more. Reach out to your internal wholesaler if you'd like to learn more. Now let's draw our next 2 finalists. And draw a ticket out. Jeffrey David with 50 tickets. Jeffrey on the phone.
Taking a look here. Jeffrey is on the call.
All right, congratulations. You are our 3rd finalist, and let's draw our 4th. Craig Askeland with 35 tickets. Is Craig on the call?
We'll look here. Craig is not on the call.
All right, we will draw again, looking for our 4th finalist. Heather Adajar with 218 tickets. Is Heather on the call?
And Heather is on the call.
Congratulations, Heather. You are our 4th finalist. Now, one of the best ways to submit an application in good order is e-application or e-app. Financial Markets provides you access to iPipeline e-apps for most of our life insurance carriers. On the website, you will hover over Agent Tools, Forms and Applications, iGo eApp and iPipeline PDF forms, then iGo eApp, and log in. We will start a new case. In iPipeline, all yellow fields are required fields. Once you enter your client's basic information, you will enter your state, product type, and search available products. Now here we're looking for Symetra. Once you find your product, you will hit select. This will generate the e-application. Once you have completed all required fields and have green check marks on all pages down the left, you can validate and lock the data, then follow the next steps to submit. E-apps are a great time saver. Reach out to us today if you'd like to know more about e-applications. And now, our 5th finalist. Pull up our hat again. So far, we have 4 finalists: Eric Tinney, Art Archidiacono, Jeffrey David, and Heather Adajar. Let's draw our 5th finalist. Angie Ford with 99 tickets. Is Angie on the call?
Angie is on the call.
Congratulations, Angie. You are our 5th finalist. Now, while I prepare the hat for our final drawing, Neil is going to share about our next cruise.
Thank you, Tara. And thank you to Symetra for sharing those great sales ideas with us. Reach out to your internal wholesaler to design a plan on your next case. And folks, with as little as 1.2 million of annuity premium or 36,000 of life premium, including all of the Symetra products, or any combination of annuity and life premium, you and your guest could be on your way to the next amazing FMI Agent Point Awards trip. We've enjoyed many amazing celebrity and Royal Caribbean cruises over the years, and the 2027 will be nothing short of what many of you have already enjoyed. Excellent food, great destinations, fun excursions, Did I mention excellent food? But most importantly, networking with like-minded financial professionals while taking some much needed time to relax aboard these gigantic floating cities. Take a look at the full points and qualification details under the incentives tab at fmiAgent.com, and also check your current point standings to be sure you're on track to qualify. So join us for an unforgettable cruise with Royal Caribbean in May of 2027. All of the associates here at Financial Markets look forward to helping you throughout this year to get qualified. And if Tara Sewell has the 5 finalists ready in the hat, I'll turn it back to her to draw the top winning name. Tara.
All right, thank you, Neil. Yes, it's going to be a great cruise coming up. So please let us know how we can help you qualify. So we have our 5 finalists. Let's give it a good shuffle here. And drop them in the hat. And Jeffrey David, congratulations. You have won your choice of a locking gun safe or a smart TV. And congratulations to our runners up. You will each receive an Amazon gift card. Thank you for spending time with us today. We appreciate your business and we are honored to share this journey with you, helping families and creating lasting legacies. From the team here at Financial Markets, have a beautiful day.